All right, so I just wanted to share with you guys my new favorite piece of camera equipment for just making videos, going out on the trails or whatever. And right now, you guys are seeing the absolute first clip that I've ever made with this camera that I just got last night. You're probably thinking, oh, nice GoPro or whatever. However, this is not a GoPro. This is the Insta360 Ace Pro 2. I've been a very loyal GoPro customer for probably 15 years. I bought my first GoPro, which was the first GoPro that was available way back in the day when I was still snowboarding like 3 or 4 times a week. We used to just take our cameras up there and just film each other doing stupid stuff and hitting the park or whatever. However, in recent years, I've realized that GoPro has just absolutely dropped the ball when it comes to recognizing that there's other competition, that they really need to not just release new models, but they actually need to make sure that every model they release is 100% dialed in. A couple of the issues that I would have, the charging was super inconsistent. I would charge the GoPro and I would use a charger that met all the requirements. I think I had even at one point purchased a legitimate, genuine GoPro charging cable. Even when I had the GoPro charger brick where you could put the batteries in, I would still have this problem where I would put the batteries in and then I'd come back a couple hours later, grab the batteries out, put them into the camera, and they would not actually be fully charged, even though the charger or the camera said, oh, your battery is done, it's done charging, it's not charging anymore. That really made me mad. The other thing is I would find that pretty regularly when I would be out on the trails filming or doing whatever, the footage would be nowhere to be found at all. Like, I would take the SD card out and put it into the MacBook. The footage would not be there, even though the camera was telling me, oh yes, it recorded. And I always use micro SD cards that are, I think, V30, like a class 3 or whatever it is. Whatever it is that you need to run 4K, that's what I was using. And even if I was shooting sometimes in 1080p, just because I was low on storage or battery life or whatever, I would have that problem on occasion, and you never knew when it was going to happen. And eventually I got so irritated, I reached out to a couple of my friends who run like video production agencies. They film, one buddy of mine, he films commercials for Toyota. I got another friend, you guys know Mitch from Melee. That dude does a ton of the motorsports photography and video work for a bunch of the ARA rally teams and then a bunch of other race teams and a bunch of other companies. I reached out to both of those guys. I was like, hey, you got any tips on how to make my GoPro work? Like, the thing's always giving me problems. I've updated to the latest firmware and no luck at all. They were like, yeah, put them in the garbage and buy a DJI Action 5 or whatever that camera is called. And I was like, message received. So I eventually just decided, like, okay, I'm going to sell off the GoPro and buy something else. I'm going to get the DJI Osmo Action 5. And I was real close to buying that. And that's a great camera. I recommend it to a lot of people. But as I was about to buy that, I was doing just a little bit of research and I found this camera, the Ace Pro 2, and it's got a few features and it's got a lens that I really like. The optics were developed in conjunction with Leica, or Leica, however you pronounce it. They're one of the premier camera manufacturers like in the world. They make $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 camera bodies. Their stuff is just on point. The sensor quality of everything that they put in their camera bodies is just top notch. And so I saw that was the deal with this camera, and I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And it's got a flip up viewfinder, like a live screen, so that even right now I've got a full frame view of what I'm looking at. So if you're doing content for whatever, you're interviewing somebody or just whatever you got going on, you're able to flip that screen up and see in real time what's being recorded, which is super cool. The image quality, I did some research, and the image quality is pretty much top notch with almost anything that's out there currently that's like a current model, but theirs was just a little bit better in every assessment that I found, everybody that tested side by side all the different cameras. And so I thought I would go with this. Now let's see here. The other thing that really made me mad about my GoPros is there would be times when I'd go to turn it on to record something, because when you're out on the trails, you need to be able to pull your camera out and start recording immediately if something crazy is about to happen, because you know how people are out on the trails, you just start sending it without any warning. And I would notice that sometimes I couldn't get it to turn on unless I pulled the battery out and reinserted it. And I don't know why that is. I have no clue. That happened with the last 3 GoPros that I owned. And I just got so fed up with that. I was so tired of it. And it was even worse because I always ran the media mod so that I could connect a microphone to it. And that meant that I had to literally unlatch the media mod, pull it out, pull the battery out, reinsert it, turn it on, and then it would work just fine. That was an even bigger problem if I had a tripod or any kind of handle mounted, because I'd have to unattach that, flip the wings out of the way, then pull it out of the media mod and do whatever I needed to do to get it to work. And that just made me so mad. This is going to be like my new go-to like portable video camera. I'm pretty happy with it already. And then one other thing that I want to mention, like the DJI Action 5, it does have Bluetooth mic support. So I'm literally talking to you with this thing connected to my mic wirelessly with no receiver. It's straight into the camera itself, which is a huge upgrade from what I was having to deal with on all of the GoPros. Now, I think the most recent GoPro I had was a GoPro 12. They may have updated it on the brand new 13, I'm not sure. But when the 12 came out, that was something that other companies were already doing, and it really made me mad that they hadn't integrated that into their platform. You still had to buy the media mod and hardline your mic with a receiver into the camera, which made me super mad. The other thing is the image stabilization with this camera is crazy. Like, I'm shaking the camera like a maniac right now, and we'll see how it turns out when I put it up on post-production. But I'm not going to edit this video in terms of the image quality, the lighting, anything like that. The dynamic range on this thing is insane. But if you're getting out there on trails and you want something that is, top-notch and reliable, I would check out this camera or the DJI Action 5 that is out. Got tons of capability, great reliability. This camera also, something that I liked about it is because of the size of the body, it is a little bigger than the Action 5 and it's a little bigger than the GoPro. However, because of the size of the frame of this, it still fits in your pocket and everything, but it's able to dissipate heat a little bit better. So I don't foresee having any issues with it overheating because it gets hot as crap out here. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. So that was also a selling point for me. But if you guys are out there getting photos and videos and stuff like that on the trails or just when you're out adventuring, I would look into one of those 2 cameras. I'm super pumped on this one, but I'll let you guys do some research if you're in the market. So I hope that's helpful if you just happen to be in the market, since we're leading into summer right now. But until next time, see you guys out on the trail, and don't forget to like and subscribe and all the other stupid YouTube influencer stuff you're supposed to do. See you next time.